Quilters, I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica, AccuQuilt's creativity expert.
Welcome to the first part of our On The Go limited series where we will be taking a trip to Paducah, Kentucky.
Yay.
Yay. We'll be sharing fun scenes from the AQS Quilt Week that took place last week from April 27th through the 30th. I was lucky to visit and explore the show at Paducah, and Joe and I, producer Joe, went and we had a great time.
I stayed here. But today we'll be sharing the adventures from Paducah, including a meet and greet with our AccuQuilt community at the show and footage with quilting murder mystery writer Arlene, how do you pronounce her name?
Sachitano.
Sachitano.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll also be looking at a quilt that I had appraised by Robin Kohler, and of course, we'll be looking at several of the winning quilts from the show. Now, giving everybody a heads up, AQS Quilt Week has rules.
Yes.
And one of those rules is that a quilt cannot be shown on camera due to copyright unless the artist was present. So you're going to see footage of quilts, but we're not going to stop and look. So we weren't able to get footage of everything that was in the show, but we have some great quilts that we met with the artists.
And there's some great overall footage that is going to give you a great feel for the show.
Yes.
Now, Quilters, we've got a lot of fun planned for you today and tomorrow with exciting prizes and special offers. So I think we should get started.
We should. We want to kick off our show with an interview I did with AQS Quilt Week director, Bonnie Browning. She was fabulous. Here's a look at what Bonnie had to say about the show.
I'm Bonnie Browning. I'm the executive show director for AQS, and so I oversee all 5 of our shows.
Wow. Wow. So, Bonnie, tell us real quick, how long has the AQS show been in Paducah?
It started in 1985.
Okay.
So we missed the last 2 years.
Right.
So this is our 36th show.
Wow.
We've been AQS for 38 years.
Right.
But this is our 36th show.
So tell us about the process, like for people who want to enter their quilts into a quilt show.
Yeah, I help work on the rules.
Okay.
And you know, we watch the trends in quilting and change the rules as we see, you know, as a certain technique comes to the forefront.
Right.
You know, right now people are saying, you know, they want a category for computer aided.
Ah.
And right now we don't have enough that are using computer aided. Most people are doing free motion yet.
Right.
And so once we do that, well, then we can look at changing some categories around.
Just amazing. So how many employees and volunteers does it take to run the Paducah show?
I think we have about 50
Wow.
here. And mostly that's because we're spread out. We
Right.
have, you know, we have first floor, second floor, expo center, pavilion. So that means we have to have staff in all those places. In our other shows, we're self-contained in one convention center. And so it only takes about 15 people for us to do those shows.
Sure. And how long have you been with AQS?
I've been with the show director since 1994, so it's like 28 years.
Yay! That's
and you
exciting.
know, when I took this job, I thought, oh man, if I did this for 5 years, that would be a long time. But you know, quilters are the best people. And we get to try new things every single year.
Yes.
We're always looking for new things. We're looking for new events to do. We're looking for new teachers. We're looking for everything to stay at the top of the heap.
Right.
To make sure that we're getting the very best quilts in the world.
Wonderful. And are you a quilter yourself?
I have been since the late 70s.
Okay, and what kind of quilts do you like to do?
I like to do all kinds of quilts, but let me tell you what we did during the pandemic.
Okay.
Because they sold all the low-end sewing machines in this country to make masks.
Oh, yes, they did.
And I said, then the people with those new sewing machines need to learn to do something else. So we developed a series of 6 classes that we called Let's Quilt with Bonnie.
Okay.
They were geared toward beginners.
Okay.
We had sponsors, and AccuQuilt was one of the sponsors of that. And they're all free on YouTube.
Okay.
If you go to AmericanQuilter.com, click on the blog button, it drops down a menu and says Let's Quilt. You'll get all 6 classes. There's a handout. I had to write a book
I love it.
for every
I
class.
love it.
But we've had 400,000 people watch
Wow.
those videos, and I can't
Wow.
even tell you how many people have come up to me here at the show
Sure.
and said, thank you so much for doing those videos. The most fun one was the last class, and it was 6 panel quilts in 6 weeks.
Oh my.
So that meant I went online and I bought 6 different panels. And then I had to figure out a beginner level border
Wow.
to make this look really good.
Yes.
And it was a fun class, and people loved that too.
And so what kind of shapes did you use for that border?
I did cornerstones. I did 3
sure.
borders with
Okay.
different, and used different colors out of the center.
Okay.
I did a 3 sections of a mitered border.
Right.
And when you do that, you have to sew them all together first.
Right.
And then miter them at once.
Yes.
I did one that had blocks along the side and the bottom.
Okay.
And then I changed the scale of the other 2 borders to balance that.
There you go.
And they were all simple. They were half square triangles.
Sure.
And I did a Mickey and Minnie Mouse that was just a half square triangle border with another black border around the outside edge.
Fabulous.
But they looked really good. They looked like you really worked hard.
Right.
And anybody could do it.
I love it. All right. And then upcoming, what's our next AQS show?
Middle of August is Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yes.
And the middle of September is Des Moines, Iowa.
Excellent. Thank you so much for meeting with us today.
All right.
We're having such a great time at Paducah. Thank you.
You know what? Everybody's so happy to be here, and we're happy to have them too.
Yeah. These are our people, right? It's good to be
these are
together.
our people.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
She was delightful.
Yes.
And so excited that we are all back together at quilt shows.
Yeah, the overwhelming feeling just seemed to be happy because everybody was so happy to be back.
Yep.
All right, we're going to be taking a look at several of the Quilt Week winners. So we're going to look at some of them today, later in the show, so stick around. We're going to look at some of them tomorrow, so be sure to come back.
That's right. Quilters, we have special deals to get your order in during the show. Use your phone's camera to capture the QR code. It will take you directly to our site.
That's right. And if you don't have a QR reader, open a new tab in your browser. Type in AccuQuilt.com/party to go to the site and place your order. That way you won't miss a minute of the show.
All right, quilters, use the promo code Paducah. Let me spell it for you. Paducah to take an extra 10% off your order and to get free shipping if you live in the contiguous U.S. Now, using that code, 10%, additional 10%,
right,
you will save up to 36% off markdown items. Some exclusions apply. Check the website for details.
Perfect. And our cutters are also marked down. You've got $30 off the Go Me, $100 off the Go, and $150 off the Ready, Set, Go and the Go Big fabric cutters. And no code is needed to redeem those offers at checkout.
Nope, they're just already marked down.
They're just there for you.
You can also find many of our products at your local AccuQuilt retailer. To find a retailer closest to you, check out the store locator at the top of the page at AccuQuilt.com.
And you can quilt now and pay later. For more information on financing through AccuQuilt, visit AccuQuilt.com/financing. All right, now if you were lucky enough to go to Paducah, you may have seen or spoken to Miss Pam at the AccuQuilt booth that was manned by our friends from Quilt in a Day.
Huge shout out to Quilt in a Day for
Yes.
being there. I was there on Thursday, April 28th, and got to see and meet so many of our AccuQuilt community. We want to give a huge shout out to Quilt in a Day for helping run the booth, and Sharon and Sarah were phenomenal.
Yes. And I mean, it was mobbed. Everything that I saw, they were constantly busy.
Yes, they were so busy, like from the minute the show opened
Yes.
until the end. And we're just so grateful that, you know, they were able to, people took home a lot of product.
Yes.
And I know that some products were sold out. We were able to ship it to them.
Good.
So it was just really a great booth, and we had a ton of fun there.
I'm sure quilters were enjoying it. I could tell from the footage then that I saw when you got back, getting to see the Go Cutters in action and learn more about them in person.
They were. And our staff in the booth, again, a huge shout out to Sharon and Sarah. They did an amazing job of showing off our product, and it was such a hit that we thought maybe we could do the same thing in our show today.
That is a great idea. You know, some of us didn't get to go to the show. Some of us stayed home and kept business running. So
did.
we wanted everyone, including me, to get a taste of what it was like to be there in person with the next best thing, our live shows.
All right, so let's talk about our Ready, Set, Go. Okay, this
Yes.
is just add fabric, everything you need to cut.
It's
right?
your best value for getting started with the system.
It is. And it includes our Go fabric cutter, which is our manual cutter, our 8-inch cube, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Yes.
Our 2.5-inch strip die. Erica, what do we use 2.5-inch strips for?
Absolutely everything. So we
Yeah.
use it for binding, you can use it for borders, you could use it for sashing. And it's a multitasker. You
Yes.
can use it to cut diamonds and 4 patches and 9 patches. And be sure to tune in tomorrow. We're going to show you how to do all those things.
Yep. We also have a 10 by 24 mat.
Yes.
Because what happens if you try to use a die without a mat?
Absolutely nothing.
That's right. Our Go Cube book by our good friend Eleanor Burns and a die pick. And so one of the questions was in the show that we met at the show, we're like, oh, I have the Go, so I can't use the 10 or 12-inch cube.
Oh, mais no.
Oh, mais no. All of our
Au
cubes,
contraire.
yes, fit through our Go fabric cutter.
That's right. That's right.
Now, the Ready, Set, Go is such a great value, and quilters were so excited. We actually sold out of Ready, Set, Go's on the very first day.
That's amazing.
Yep. Now, don't forget, quilters, we have tons of videos on how to use that Ready, Set, Go, so check them out on our Facebook page and YouTube.
Yes, that's right. Now, we also have our Go Me, and it is perfect for quilters on the go or for those who want or need a smaller cutter. Now, the Go Me works just like its big sister, the Go Cutter. It's just more petite.
And we met tons of people at the show who had traveled there like in RVs, and all of them said, oh, I have a little Go Me in my RV, so
That's
I can
fantastic.
cut. But you and I have one next to our sewing table.
At all times.
Because inevitably, I am missing a half square triangle or two.
Aren't
right?
you always? Me
Always.
too.
Always. All right, and don't forget, our Go Me will work with over 70% of our dies.
It's true.
Including the Go Mix and Match 4, 6, 8, and 9-inch cubes.
Yes.
But let's face it, sometimes it's just good to go big.
Yes.
And the Go Big is our electric fabric cutter, and it works with 100% of our dies. This is the cutter Eric and I use every single day.
That's right. Now, the basic concept is exactly the same, but with the Go Big, you'll be cutting with the push of a button,
there.
not turning a handle.
Yep.
Now, the cutter comes with, of course, the cutter itself. It comes with our flying geese die. It makes a 3x6 flying geese. It comes with a 6x12 cutting mat, a pattern booklet, and it'll cut 2 dies at a time of our more narrow dies. Did we have an issue?
We did. I pulled the power cord out when I stepped over here.
We can't take her anywhere.
know.
But
Listen.
Joe took her to Paducah, so it seemed to work out.
I feel like it's all good.
Now, the key is that there are also 9 dies that will only work in our Go Big electric fabric cutter, and that includes 2 of our newest dies, the ones that cut 9.5 or 10.5-inch squares.
Right. And again, with that Go Big, you want to make sure you have those Go Big mats.
That's right.
Okay? All right, so should we talk about the die that comes with it since I was over here?
That is not it.
Oh, never mind.
You jumped ahead.
Flying geese.
It's the flying
the
geese.
secret. Listen, I was so worried about knocking it off. And notice Joe spoke up right there. Pam, that is not it.
Pam, that is
All
not
right,
it.
Be sure to stick around after the show, I don't know, and see all the difference between each of our cutters to help you decide which one is best for your quilting. But honestly, truly, just get the Go Bag.
There you go.
All right, quilters, you know, it simply wouldn't be one of our shows without a giveaway.
That's right. Thank you for registering and tuning into our live events. We couldn't do it without you.
Now listen, today we're giving a lucky registered viewer $100
Okay.
in AccuQuilt reward points.
This is truly a fantastic prize.
And that is fabulous. Yeah, and you could totally get whatever you wanted.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right, yeah. I'd be excited
So many
to hear what
things.
they say, right?
So many things. All right, it's a fantastic prize. And the first lucky winner of $100 in AccuQuilt reward points is, drum roll please, Linda M. from the Villages, Florida. Congratulations.
Hey, Linda, tell us what die you're going to get. I'm
Oh,
curious
yeah.
to see.
Put it in the comments. We want to know.
Yeah. All right, so quilters, while we're in Paducah, I had the opportunity to have a quilt of mine appraised. So I have a grandmother's flower garden, which is a real traditional
Very.
pattern that my great-grandmother and her sisters and my grandmother made. And I knew all of those people.
Right.
My great grandmother lived in, she died when I was about 10. But it was so cool to have this quilt. And it's a queen size quilt. And
Wow.
I'd never had it appraised. And we took it to Paducah. So here's a look at the scenes from that appraisal. So Robin is our appraiser, and this is my grandmother's flower garden that my great-grandmother and her sisters made. So kind of tell us the process of how you determine the value of a quilt.
Well, the first thing we do is we need to determine age.
Okay.
Then we look at condition,
Okay.
construction. So all of those add up to a full picture. You need to know that it's not stained, that there aren't tears to it, how it was constructed, whether they constructed it well, do their points match. You're not judging, but you're trying to get a full picture of it.
Okay. And so this quilt, tell me a little bit about what your impressions of it were. Like, was it in good shape compared
Yes.
to other quilts from the
Yes,
30s?
because it looks like it's not been used very much.
Right.
I'm not even sure it's been washed.
Yeah, I'm not ever going to wash it. So
You're not ever going to wash it, and I'm not seeing too much. I mean, there's a little, like that little bit of pucker that you
Right.
get when something's been washed, but it doesn't look like it's been overly washed.
Right. And then why should quilters get their quilts appraised?
Praising is important because most people think, oh, I have an old quilt and I should have an old quilt appraised, but it's not just for old quilts. A lot of times we have contemporary quilts appraised for insurance purposes.
Right.
Most of what we do is for insurance purposes. And I live in Florida, so for example, hurricane season comes.
Right.
And all the time and effort that you put into this beautiful work of art, and then to have something come through and take it away is heartbreaking to a lot of people.
Right.
And so a lot of times we see people doing it for those purposes. For show quilts, contemporary quilts that we have hanging, some people have those appraised because if it's a winner, obviously.
Right.
And also if you're applying to more than one show, then you're going to, when it's traveling on the road, you're going to want to have it insured for traveling purposes.
Right.
So it's not just for old quilts.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
we see lots of beautiful quilts that come through, and
I just make you happy.
I know. I love it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for spending time
Thank
with
you
us
very
today.
much.
Okay, so this was an amazing process with
Yes,
Robin.
it really was.
And okay, so first of all, did you see the ladies waving at Joe as they were walking by?
Joe was quite the celebrity by the end of Quilt Week,
By the
wasn't
end
he?
of Quilt Week, people knew him. Well, it helped that he walked around with like this tripod, you know, on
His
wheels.
giant
as he was
camera,
taking
yeah.
Cameras everywhere. But okay, so the quilt itself was, I knew a great history about it.
Right.
And I knew like when it was made and, you know, where it had been. But she talked about one of the flowers was made out of fabric called Nile green.
Okay.
And Nile green was huge popular in the 1930s. So the minute she opened it up and saw a block with that fabric in it,
She knew
was able
it was
to date it.
dated to
Right.
the 30s.
And then it had silk batting in it, and we learned tons of things about listening. They would hold that quilt up like this, and they would
I wondered
pull
how
it.
that they could confirm that.
Well, I knew that it had
You
silk
knew that it had silk batting?
And I gave them that information, and one of the other ladies came over, and she goes, oh, yeah, because you can feel it. It was soft.
Wow.
And it was all, you know, handmade and stuff. So I'd never had an appraisal done, and we'll get the results in like 30 days or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to take them a minute to do that. But one of the things that she said was not only get your old quilts, but your new quilts appraised.
Well, and that was fascinating to me because it never even occurred to me. I mean, I have old quilts. I have old quilts that probably don't have a lot of value because they're not in that great a shape,
Right.
but I would love to have them dated.
Right.
You know, but having your new ones appraised, because you're right, you have such value built into
Right.
that already.
Well, you know, grunge is not cheap.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so,
true.
But here's the one thing she did say, because this quilt did not have a label.
Yes.
All of our quilts, even if you, and she suggested for me actually to just handwrite it with a, you know, water soluble or a water permanent marker
Yeah.
or whatever that's called, and a fabric pen. That's the word.
There's-
And you should do the who, what, when, and where.
Yeah.
So who made it? What pattern did they use?
Because you know the
I
history,
know.
you need to capture that.
Right. And then at the bottom say, and it's now in possession of Pam Heller of Omaha, Nebraska. So put a
Put a label on your quilt.
Okay.
All right, quilters. Now, since you just had a look at Pam's quilt appraisal, we want to know, have you ever had a quilt appraised?
Is your answer yes, no, or it's on my bucket list?
On my bucket list.
Yes. If you're watching.
Especially now.
Oh, yeah. If you're watching by the registration link or YouTube, you can click the vote box below or to the right of the chat box.
And if you're watching via Facebook, vote on the box that displays over the video.
Now, Erica, have you ever had any kind of quilt
I
appraised?
haven't.
Okay.
And I'm fascinated by it. I mean, I have some old quilts I'd like to have appraised.
Right.
And now I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to get my new ones appraised
Right.
too, that I've
Right.
made.
And I've also heard you can have just quilt tops appraised,
Yes.
right? So, because some of,
Right.
maybe you have an
May-
old quilt top that's been.
True.
Yeah.
True.
All right, quilters, don't forget to use the promo code Paducah to take an extra 10% off your order and get free shipping if you live in the contiguous U.S. Using that code, you will save up to 36% off some of our items.
Say it
Some
again. Up to 36%. That's great.
Yeah. Some exclusions apply. Check the website for details.
Now remember to check out our website for special markdowns, including $25 off cube companion sets and $50 off mix and match blocks. No code is needed for those markdown offers.
And yesterday we had a great Wednesday show where we talked about how we used the 4-inch cube and
It's
the
fantastic.
12-inch cube and how they work together. Remember, quilters, there's great value in the cube system and they're meant to work together.
That's right.
All right, quilters, being able to meet so many of you at our meet and greet in Paducah was tons of fun. And like I said, I was able to meet many of you and find out what was your favorite die. Let's take a look. This is Vivian and we're here in Paducah Quilters. Now, Vivian is my biggest fan because she sent me slippers when my feet were cold, and we didn't know what Buckeyes were from Ohio, so you sent us Buckeyes.
I sent you Buckeyes.
And you have a present for
I
me,
have a present
which
for
probably
you.
is going to make me cry.
And your team.
Oh, see?
And the team. Can't forget the AccuQuilt
Yes.
team.
Okay.
These are cookies from Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm not sure they're going to make it home because Joe and I drove.
That's all right. That's all right. I know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so tell me one of your favorite dies.
I'd have to say maybe the Hunter Starr.
Yes.
Hunter Starr.
Classic.
But I have them all.
Yeah.
She can contest to that. I have them all.
That's wonderful. I mean, your name, Tracy. So Tracy's new to quilting.
Yes.
How long you been quilting?
I've been quilting for about a year. And
Okay.
For Christmas, I got the go and a couple of dies
Because you know Vivian.
because she influenced me,
Yeah.
and I love it. It's
So what is your
my
favorite
time.
die?
I've only been using a few so far.
Okay.
But I love it. The binding one.
Yes, 2.5-inch strip.
That's the best. That's
Wonderful.
cut so much time out of my life.
So nice to meet you. So tell me your name.
Sharon Aiden,
Sharon, and where are you from?
Dongola, Illinois.
Excellent. And tell me what's your favorite die?
Well, I've just started using them, but
Okay.
I've got to say that I think the cubes are going to definitely be my favorite.
So awesome. And do you have a favorite size cube? Are you using the 8-inch?
I've bought the 6 and the 9. I've got pieces of the 8.
Okay.
And I've just started working on a quilt, and I was converting it by using your conversion chart.
Right.
So I could use the cubes instead of cutting it by hand.
Perfect.
But the one block I did, fantastic.
Yay!
Yeah.
Good to hear. So tell us your name and where you're from.
Linda Little, Bonifay, Florida.
There you go. And tell me what's your favorite die.
I told you earlier, all of them.
All of them. Do you have one?
Everyone I have the Starr. I have. I went to do the schoolhouse. I've got.
Right.
I want the cabin, log cabin.
Oh, log
I haven't
cabin.
bought that one yet, but
Okay.
I want that one.
What's the last die you used in a project?
My cube, the
Excellent.
9-inch cube.
Perfect.
I cut squares. I was making another quilt. I cut squares. I went, wow, quick, man, quick.
There you go.
Perfect.
Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Barbara Gregory. I'm from Quincy, Illinois, and I love AccuQuilt.
Yay. And Tina?
I'm Tina Landscreener from Quincy, Illinois.
Excellent. And?
Diane Hansen from Miller, Missouri.
Excellent. Okay, so Diane, what's your favorite AccuQuilt die?
Oh, I love my 12-inch cube.
Yes, because then big blocks.
Oh, I use them all the time.
Wonderful. All right,
And
Tina.
my 2.5-inch strip die.
Right, because what would you do without it? Right?
Don't know what I do without
Mine
it.
are the strip dice.
Yes, strip dies are the best.
And the corner setters.
Yes. Yep.
They're all good.
Good. All right, we'll say hi to all of our viewers. We wish you were
She's
here.
an excellent teacher.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So Nancy, tell us where you're from.
I'm from close to here. I'm from Calvert City, Kentucky. About
Excellent.
20 minutes away.
Okay.
So I can bop in and out of the show whenever I want.
Oh, see, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so AccuQuilt dice, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
2.5-inch strip cut.
Yeah,
Has to be.
all the days.
Has to be. And then I'm slowly building my accumulation of cubes.
Yes.
So it started at Christmas, and now I think it's going to be a Christmas tradition.
Oh, I like that tradition.
Yes.
I like it. So what size cube did you get?
Started with a 9,
Okay.
got to 8, got to 4.
Okay.
So I'm going to go from there.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm having fun here at the show, looking at the patterns, talking to people about how did you cut this? and there's a lot of them that are using the
Yes.
cube, and
Yes.
some of the modern quilters especially.
Yeah. Because
so
those
it's been lots of
geometric
fun.
shapes.
So I'm starting to learn. I'm a relatively new quilter, but I'm starting to learn to look at the patterns and try to figure out, do I want to make
Sure.
this? Can I use my cube or not?
Right. See, that's what I think to myself. I'm not going to make it unless I can use a die, right?
Yes.
All right, so tell me your name.
Barbara.
Barbara. And where are you from?
Knoxville.
Knoxville, Tennessee. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so Barbara, tell me what's your favorite AccuQuilt die?
All of them.
Oh, yeah, that's what I love to hear. Do you have like a top 5 favorite one?
No, I love them all. I use them all the time.
Great.
Got about 80 of them.
There you go. Well, there you go. And do you have a special size cube you like to use?
The large one.
The 12?
Yes.
Yeah, I do like the 12-inch cube. Makes a nice big block.
And you can mix and match with 4s.
See, she knows. She knows. So tell me your name.
Barbara.
Barbara, where are you from?
Yes, Franklin, Kentucky.
Franklin, Kentucky. Okay, so tell us about this jacket you made with the 4-inch cube. Because first of all, I have so much of this fabric.
You do?
Like I have this fabric and the fabric.
I use the batiks.
It's beautiful. How did you make it?
Gave me the batiks. Well,
Right.
my 4-inch cube, of course.
She used your 4-inch cube,
And I started making strips.
right?
And I made one big block.
Okay.
And then I cut my pattern out of it.
And is it lined?
And that, yes, yes. To the pink.
Oh, Tula will be so happy. Look at this. I love it. And then turn the back. Oh my gosh. So which die is this?
Another Adidas Saturn.
Yes, Adidas Satar. Yep. And then equilateral triangles.
Yeah.
It's stunning. All right. So tell me, what's your favorite AccuQuilt die?
All of them.
All of them.
Oh
Good
my
answer.
gosh, I have a special cabinet that we kind of built just for
Right.
that, and he's made me cabinets. I have dies everywhere.
Good job.
I love them all.
Thank
and
you.
I love you.
Oh, it's
Thanks
so
for-
nice to meet you. Oh. Our customers were just so fun.
That just looked like so much fun.
And full disclosure, we did bring cookies home for the entire
Yes,
team.
yes, I even got one.
Yeah.
So they did make it, Vivian. They made
did.
it. They made it back.
She's so
They
great.
made it back. And now we've got lots more. You talk to a lot of quilters, so we've got more quilters, more Pam and quilter conversations coming up.
Yep, today and tomorrow as
Yes.
well.
So one thing that came up over and over again was people talking about how much they love their cubes. So without further ado, I think we should look at our 8-inch cube.
Excellent. Now, if you aren't familiar with our cubes, it's all based on 8 geometric shapes that work together to make over 72 mix and match patterns. These are free downloadable patterns from AccuQuilt.com. The cube comes in 6 different sizes: 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 12 finished blocks. But that's just the beginning, and the 4, 6, 8, and 9 will fit through your Go Me.
That's right. Okay, so let's take a look inside and show you exactly what you're gonna get. Now, we always say to pull the skinny one first because that way you won't break a nail.
Right.
This one's gonna have a pattern booklet for you, and it's going to have your mat because you gotta have the mat to make the magic.
Right. And again, we have tons of videos on our Facebook page and our
Right.
website that are about the cubes, but let's just go through it. Okay, so first of all, the thing to remember the most is that the cube is based on a 4-patch system.
Right.
So shape number 1 in every cube is a square. 4 of these sewn together makes, in this case, an 8-inch cube or an 8-inch block. Because quilters think, oh, I'm getting the 8-inch cube, it's going to cut 8-inch blocks.
Right.
There's sewing.
There is sewing involved.
We're going to cut with one of those, so I'll keep
Yes.
it out. All right, so here is shape number 2, Erica, smaller squares.
Smaller squares. So we have big squares and small squares. Now,
Yep.
what you don't see are the blades in between.
Right.
So we've got blades in between those, dividing them up. So you're actually going to cut 4 on the die.
Right, and 4 of these sewn together equal shape number 1.
There you go.
Here's my all-time favorite shape, shape number 3, half square triangles. And the great thing is, we've cut off the dog ears, so from here to here is that perfect 1/4-inch seam allowance.
That's right. And all of our piecing dies have that 1/4-inch seam allowance built in. That's really key to remember.
Right.
Oh, here's my favorite quarter square triangle.
Quarter square triangles are great. It cuts so that the lengthwise grain is on the outside of the block, which is what you need to make your quilts so they aren't wonky.
Yes, we don't want wonky.
There's no wonky
No
allowed.
wonky allowed.
All right, shape number 5 is our workhorse of our cube system. It is our small half square triangles. So we have big squares, little squares, big half square triangles, little half square triangles.
Right.
And it adds the outside to so many of our blocks to create new shapes. For example, shape number 6 is our square on point. Erica, you want to talk about that?
Yes, now quilters ask us all the time, well, what's so different about the square on point? It looks like a square, and it is. But what's different is the math, because the math has been done for you to allow you to put the small half square triangles, yeah, right there, yeah, that one, around on each of the sides of the square on point to turn it into a square that is equal to shape number 1.
Yep, makes that square in a square. And then shape number 7 is our parallelogram. It is actually a directional shape, so depending on which way you want your parallelogram to go, you're either going to stack your fabric up or fan fold it. But Erica, what happens when we put shape number 5 on the outside?
It creates a rectangle. And if you're wondering what size that rectangle is going to be, well, by golly, it's going to be the same size as shape number 8, because shape number 8 in every cube is a rectangle, and 2 of those rectangles sewn together is going to be equal to our shape number 1, our square.
Yep. So those 8 shapes are the same 8 shapes in every cube. They're just different sizes.
That's right. Now, all of our dies are designed, all of our Go dies are designed, we're really designed to cut up to 6 layers of 100% cotton, and we're going to show you how to cut with shape number 1.
Yep. All right, so let's cut real quick, and then we'll talk about the 72 different blocks that you can make, right?
Right.
And we'll talk about our companion sets.
Okay.
So I have my square here, shape number 1. This is my lengthwise green. We're just going to cut 4 layers. We can always cut 6 layers. Now, you'll notice, quilters, I'm not lining it up with the die board. I'm lining it up just over this shape.
That is really the key.
Yep.
So we have angled the shape. Go ahead and cut. We've angled the shape on the die so that it's like driving over a speed bump 1 tire at a time. We
Yep.
love our fabric. We want it to have a nice smooth ride through the cutter and give us the best possible cut every time.
All right, so when we talk about a 2x2 grid, we're talking about a 4-patch. So look at that. We
Look
cut
at
4
that.
of them.
There we go.
Right there, okay? 2 rows, 2 columns. So the entire cube system is based on that. But think about taking this block and turning it on point.
We will do that.
There we go. Then you could add our setting triangles, because we have a setting triangles for each size cube.
And look how different it looks.
Yeah, and you would totally double the amount of blocks, right?
Right. So then think about going beyond that 4-patch. So go ahead and think about something that's on a 3x3 grid, like a classic churn dash or a shoe fly block.
Right.
That's even more blocks. So here's a look at those same shapes. Now we've made a 12-inch block because we've got 3 across, 3 down.
Right, so we used our 8-inch cube to make a 12-inch block. So if we used our 4-inch cube, it would be a 6-inch block.
Correct.
And so forth. So I just love, that's the versatility of it, right? So you can keep adding those.
But wait, there's more.
Wait.
Companions as well. So each size cube has 2 coordinating companion sets, and each one has 4 dies.
Right. The companion angles and corners adds an additional 72 blocks from each companion set, so over 216 blocks, free downloadable patterns at AccuQuilt.com, and that is a fantastic value.
It is. Now, quilters, there was so much to see at the show that we thought we'd show you some scenes of several of the quilt exhibits. Now, like we mentioned, due to copyright and AQS Quilt Week rules, we weren't able to show you everything, but here is a great overall look.
Okay, wasn't that fabulous?
Oh my gosh.
And a huge shout out to Joe, who just walked up and down and did so much of our video.
Yes.
Well, all of our video footage.
All of your video footage.
Anyway, shout out to Joe for doing that. Now, one of the things, we kind of had a trend there, right? So we could see, like, there were some log cabins and there were lots of stars, which you can make with our strip dies.
Right.
But there was one that we saw a lot at the show, and this is the Go Tree of Life die.
Yes.
So the Tree of Life block, we saw 3 or 4 of them throughout our time at the show. And I feel like those people cut these 73 shapes by hand.
I feel like they did, but happily we now have a die for that.
Right.
So.
Right. And it's available at AccuQuilt.com, so pick you up one of these because I thought it was just beautiful.
Yes.
All right, quilters, early in the show, we asked you, have you ever had a quilt appraised?
Is your answer yes, which Miss Pam can say
Yes.
now, no, or on my bucket list, which is where I live? If you're watching via the registration link or on YouTube, you can click on the vote box below or to the right of the chat box.
And if you're watching via Facebook, vote from the box that displays over the video. Now, while I was in Paducah, do you love a good murder mystery?
I really do.
I do as well. I had the pleasure of meeting an author who has written several murder mystery quilting stories.
Love that.
Has like a quilting theme. Arlene Sachitano, there we go, Sachitano. Here's a look at my conversation with her. Hey, quilters, we're here with Anne Sachitano. She writes quilting novels, right?
Quilting murder mysteries.
Oh, see, even better. Quilting murder mysteries. So, can you just a little introduction yourself, like how long you've been writing and why you chose this genre?
I've been writing since I was little.
Okay.
I was the editor of my junior high school newspaper, but I started getting into this when my local quilt store, whose signature product was story quilts, asked me to write them a mystery to go with the quilt pattern, and they sold very well. We did a second one and it sold very well, so I called my publisher and said I think I should be writing quilting mysteries.
Right. And are you a quilter yourself?
I am. I've made these quilts. They're around the edges of the covers of my books.
Okay. And then so when you're writing your stories, do you choose a specific pattern to kind of be through the theme, or do you write the story first and then add the quilting aspect?
I usually buy the fabric first, and that's kind of an inspiration. And to avoid any pattern copyright issues, I just sketch something out on graph paper and make these.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. And how long have you been a quilter then?
I started quilting maybe 20 years ago. I've done sewing since, I was young. Made clothes for my kids and that kind of thing.
Right.
But I got into quilting about 20 years ago.
Okay, so Arlene, I understand you have a go.
I do.
Okay, and what's your favorite die?
My favorite die is the one that makes various sizes of squares.
Okay.
But I also use the strip one a lot.
Oh, what size strip die do you use? Like 2.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really plan on appliquing because I have a lot of the applique shapes, but I haven't gotten to that yet. But I do the geometric shapes.
Yeah, they're just beautiful. And what's the theme of the current book that you have here at the show?
My most recent book, because my family, my nephew is a horse trainer.
Okay.
And so he, the lady that trained him from when he was a child has read all my books, and she kept bothering me about making a story set in the stable.
Okay.
And so the most recent one is set in the horse stable. I have several that are like that. My double wedding death, I go to a Galveston applique retreat every year, applique away on Galveston Bay, and those people wanted a story set there, so I did that.
There you go. Well, it's a good thing you know people, right? And do you have already plans for a next book?
Yes. They are going to be, so I started writing a knitting series too, so I'm finishing up the second one on that, and then in my head I'm already working on number 14 in the quilting series, and they're going to be, some bird watchers are going to come to town.
I love it.
And I've got my fabric already.
I love it. Wonderful. Now, you came to the AQS show. Do you go to other shows as well?
I do. I go to the International Quilt Festival in Houston.
Okay.
I often go to Road to California.
Right.
I have been to one in Minnesota, but I also do local. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I do quilt shows around there.
Perfect.
I also do events in quilt stores, and I give talks at quilt guilds.
Wow. So if our quilters want to follow you, do you have a website or a Facebook page?
Facebook and Instagram both. Cleverly named Anne Sachitano's page.
So clever for a writer.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. And where can our viewers get your books?
They can get them on all the online outlets, Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and because we're in the Northwest, Powell's.com.
Well, we're actually going to get a couple to take home with us to give away to some lucky viewers. So thank you again for meeting with me today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, she was fabulous.
She was, and I do love a good murder mystery.
I do too. I do too. And I did not read these on the way home.
Oh, well, they're pristine. She hasn't cracked the spine or anything.
There. All right, so not only did I get to meet with her, but she gave us 2 books to give away, and she has signed them for us.
That is so
two
nice.
Of our lucky registered viewers.
That's right.
And again, a huge shout out to Arlene for this giveaway. All right, so the first winner of a book by Anne Sachitano is, drum roll please, Michelle D. of Boise, Idaho.
Oh, congratulations. It's a good day for reading today. It's cloudy, it's rainy, it's cold. The second winner of a book by Anne Sachitano is, drum roll please, Sandra O. from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Congratulations.
So these are super cool. So this one's called 12 Quilts of Christmas. And this is a quilt of a different color. But look, Erica, like the horseshoe is upside down. So all the luck is running out.
Well, I feel like it's a murder mystery, Pam, so I think the luck has run out.
Good point. All right, quilters, don't forget you can get Arlene's from your local bookstore. So
That's
check
right.
local, or you can check it out on Amazon. Hey, and don't forget, if you're watching from Canada or the UK, you can buy our product on Amazon.com.
Oh, that's right. And some local quilt stores will carry quilting mystery books as well.
Yes. I have to choose between quilting and reading.
Yes, I know. It's a tough choice, too.
All right. Now, while cubes are some of our community's all-time favorite dies, others are in love with Bob or block on board dies. Let's take a look. Okay, tell me your name.
Sue.
Sue, where are you from?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. So, what's your favorite AccuQuilt die?
I just finished some of the Hunter Starr.
Okay.
And then what I did was went into just my cubes. Right. And I created some placemats for several friends for a little Easter thing. It was just kind of fun. So
wonderful.
It was fun to create from that.
And are you having a great time in Paducah?
I am.
All right, tell me your name.
Kim Spalding.
Kim, where are you from?
Mayfield, about 20 miles from here.
Wonderful. Okay, Kim, tell me your favorite AccuQuilt die.
I think it would be the Hunter Starr.
Hunter Starr. I love it because it's a classic block. Right. And you can totally make it scrappy. And are you like a modern quilter, traditional quilter?
A mixture of everything.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
There's no limits. Whatever I see that just happens to appeal. I do like bright colors, but I also like the Civil War type colors.
Oh, yes. Reproduction fabric. Yeah. Wonderful. Tell me your name, dear.
Teresa Davis.
Teresa, where are you from?
I'm from Heltonville, Indiana.
Heltonville, Indiana. And what did you buy?
I bought one of the 12-inch.
Dresden plates.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. How long have you been quilting?
Oh, many years.
Many years.
Probably 40.
So what's your favorite AccuQuilt die?
I have only got to try so many so far, so I'm in the process of making a quilt right now.
Okay.
So, and it's more something like this, more like a feather,
right?
Kind of thing. So
wonderful. All right, tell me your name.
Cindy Chavez.
Where are you from?
Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Excellent. Okay, so Cindy, what's your favorite die?
I love all of the applique ones.
Oh.
I adore those, but I adore the bobs.
Bobs are the best.
Because they cut out and do really nicely.
Yeah. So Carol, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Annandale, Virginia.
Annandale, Virginia. How long have you been quilting?
Since 1972.
Wow. And what's your favorite AccuQuilt die?
Oh God, a favorite?
One of your favorites.
One of my favorites would be the one that you guys have turned into make it look like a snowflake.
Prairie Star.
Prairie Star.
Well, look at us knowing those kind of things. I love that die, and I do love the little snowflakes on it.
Yeah.
So wonderful. So tell me your name.
Steve Fletcher.
Where are you from?
Pleasant View, Tennessee.
And how long have you been a quilter?
About 4 years.
4 years?
4 or 5 years.
Wow. And what kind of quilts do you like to make? Do you like applique pieced?
But I like using, like a lot of modern day fabrics, light colors. I love the way black set things off.
Yeah. And you made a quilt.
I did.
That is
several.
Phenomenal. How long did it take you to make it?
About 3 months.
Yeah.
Off and on, because there's a lot of pieces in that.
Yes. Yes.
And they're curves, and it was the first time I had done curves.
I'm proud of you.
Watched your videos. You got to take your time. Pin.
Yes. Erica would be happy to hear that.
You have to pin and follow the instructions.
All right, real quick, what's your favorite die?
Oh dear. I'd have to say a strip cutter.
Strip die.
Yeah. 2.5 inch. That's my workhorse.
I agree. I use it all the time. So tell me your name.
I am Bonita Gaston from Mentone, Alabama.
And?
Patty DeKalb from O'Fallon, Missouri. I'm at the Oso Fabric shop in O'Fallon, Missouri.
I have been there.
I worked there with Kelly.
They're so fabulous. Okay, tell me your favorite AccuQuilt die.
Oh, there's so many of them. I use the heart as my signature to put my labels on.
Oh, very nice. And how about you?
It's just, I'm right now just doing the blocks, but I have got the carpenter wheel, and that is going to be my next thing to do.
So tell me your name.
Annette Lawler.
And where are you from?
I'm actually from Kettle, Kentucky, just right here at Paducah.
Just right here at Paducah. And what's your favorite AccuQuilt die?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question.
I know.
I think the one I've used the most is the Starr Crossed.
Oh, yes.
I love that one.
Yeah.
And Ohio Starr.
Ohio Starr, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Classic pattern.
I've got a bunch, but I think I'm going to have to buy some more.
There you go. All right, we wish you were here at Quilters.
Oh, how fun.
So fun to meet our customers. And did you not love the idea of taking that heart die?
Oh, I am so going to do that. I am terrible about labeling my quilts, and we keep confessing this over and over again. I really need to actually do something about it. I should do something on Brooks before I give it to him for his birthday.
You should.
His wall hanging.
Yeah, and just take that heart die and applique it, and just write it in your own handwriting, because the quilt appraiser said I mean, that's just cool.
Cool.
All right, the one die that has been a hit ever since it first came out, let's take a look, because now I can show it to you. I tell you, at the beginning of the show. Okay, so this is Hunter Starr.
Yes.
And it truly has been one of our favorites,
And
right?
it is such a great die.
Right. And what it does is it has 4 shapes, they're all screen printed, and there's A and AR, which I say is A right, but people say it's reverse. I'm going to say it's right because I work for AccuQuilt.
That's it.
Right?
Right.
Two-tone foam, a great scrap buster. And you and I have seen this block done in total scrappy.
Total scrappy. We've done 2 colors, and I've kind of done, I've done a lot of 2-color things with it myself, but I kind of like the scrappy.
Yep.
You know, it's super versatile. It's one of those things that's really a classic pattern, and this makes it so easy.
Right.
No.
And we have specialized dog ears, which is an AccuQuilt innovation. It's on a 6x12 die board. It's going to fit through any of your cutter, including the Go Me. And
so let's show them what the block looks like. Now, this is a scrappy one, but I kind of like I guess I would call this a modified scrappy because it's all in the same colorway.
Yes.
It's all browns. It's for those of you who are uneasy with a truly scrappy look, this is a nice way to kind of step into it.
Because when I made it, I just had layers of this, one fabric and the next and the next, and then you just kind of mix them up. Yeah. And you're going to need 4 of the 6-inch blocks sewn together to make a 12-inch finished Hunter Starr.
Right.
All right. So look, let's lay some fabric down on our die. Now we're going to cut 6 layers because that's how many layers we can always cut. When we talk about fan folding, this is what we talk about.
Oh,
quilters.
great point.
So we're going to do 2 colors. We measured from here to here, added 1/4 inch, just rough cut with the fabric. And here I'm going to get it straight because it helps if it's straight.
It does.
Okay, and then we're going to go back and forth.
And again, notice that she's lined it up with that lengthwise blade so that it's on that angle just like it is on the die board. You know, it's funny, but we do have quilters ask us all the time if we did that on purpose. We really did.
We did. It was not just a mistake there. Okay. And again, we're going to use our Go Big. Don't forget, with our Go Big, you can run 2 6x12 dies through.
If you had 2 Hunter Starr dies, you could run them both through at the same time.
Think
how quick you would get done.
That is a brilliant idea, Erica. Okay. All right, so look at me pulling all my fabric off.
You always say to take it easy.
I know. I was pretty excited about it.
You know.
There we go, and we're missing a shape over here.
All right, there we go.
Okay. Yep, so then what you're going to do is you're going to just build the shapes, and they're going to be backwards. So we're going to come here. It's okay. We're going to show you just one of the blocks.
But it's great because those dog ears will help you line them up so that they're perfectly laid out.
And I want to show them this trick. Okay?
Okay.
So if you take your piece here and you line it up like this and it comes down at this 90-degree angle, this is correct. Because I feel like sometimes quilters don't get that 90 degrees and then they're sewing this shape wrong to the bottom. And that's one section of it. Look how fast.
Look how fast. Yeah. It's going to go. It's a great chain piecing project. Well, another favorite, Bob, that you heard a lot about was the Ohio Starr. And this, again, classic block. All the shapes are on the one die board.
Right. So and it just has 2 shapes.
It just has the 2 shapes. It's got the square and the quarter square triangles.
Yeah.
But there's a lot you can do with this die. In fact, just last week, we discovered that this die is the die behind the very popular exploding heart pattern.
Right. So if you didn't watch our show, we talked about Ohio Star, and we have a link. You can get it on Etsy, or there's lots of places you can get that pattern.
It's a design by Slice of Pie.
Slice of Pie. And what it uses are quarter square, triangles, and square to make that exploding heart. And it's just beautiful. And I used my cube. We talked about it on the show. And I needed to cut 500 and some odd quarter square triangles.
Yes.
I had 2 quarter square triangle dies ran through my Go Big.
Oh, you clever girl.
I know. Sometimes
I'm
I
gonna do
remember
that.
things.
I'm almost ready to start mine. All right, well, there are so many great things coming up, but it's time to give away our final prize of the day. So let's say thank you to our AccuQuilt community one more time for registering for our special event.
Oh, let's do. All right, the second lucky winner of $100 in AccuQuilt reward points is, drumroll please, Charlene Kay of Jeanette, Pennsylvania.
Congratulations.
All right, Quilters, voting is now closed. So while our team tallies your votes, let's take a look at some of the winners from Quilt Week.
Now, we're going to start by looking at the third place winner of the small wall quilts category. This is Jane Carhoo Powers. Now, it was Jane's first entry at a AQS Paducah quilt contest, and her quilt is called Iris Rhapsody. Let's take a look.
Hey Quilters, we're here in Paducah. I'm with Jane Carhoo Powers, and this is your first entry into an AQS show, and you won third place. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this quilt and talk about the process you had in making it.
Okay. I had a book from Ricky Timms called Rhapsody.
Yes.
And I'd always thought I'd do this. And I bought the book apparently in 2009.
Okay.
Because I came in 2018 to buy the fabric and said, I'm going to do a Rhapsody.
Yes.
I'm going to try it. And when I handed the book to Ricky to sign, he opened it up and says, well, I've signed it once.
Oh, how funny.
And I said, oh, and I looked and I said, 2000. Oh, I said, it must be when I bought the book. And I forgot he had signed it.
He had signed it
so
then.
He says, well, I can sign it again. So he signed it in 2018.
Wonderful.
Helped me pick out his hand-dyed fabrics.
It's beautiful.
And then he said, this is your year to make the Rhapsody. Yes.
So tell us about the wool you used, because I assume it's all that hand-dyed wool.
It's hand-dyed cotton.
Cotton.
Ricky Timms hand-dyed fabric.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous.
A lot of people think it's suede, but it's just his hand-dyed fabrics.
And then, so did you start from the center and kind of work your way out, or how did you kind of piece it all together?
I used his Rhapsody formula, which is where you draw it on a triangle that's like an eighth of the square.
Right.
You start with the square, and then you etch it and etch it, so you end up with your background fabric. And then you do your applique on top of. So like this is one section.
Right.
You transfer it to freezer paper. And so then you fill that all the different spaces with your design.
Perfect.
And then you start putting together. And if I remember correctly, because it was in 2018, before the pandemic.
Yes.
And anyway, but you end up, you sew them together, and you end up, this is the last thing, and you have to inset it.
Wow.
Which is scary, because you go, oh my gosh, will it really go in there and be flat?
And it did,
and
because it's stunning. And how long did it take you to create the quilt?
Well, like I said, I bought the fabric in 2018.
Right.
I came back with a girlfriend. She said, you got to go show it to Ricky.
Yes.
And I had it all done except for the binding.
Okay.
And I needed more binding fabric. And I said, I brought my quilt with me. She says, we're going to find Ricky. So in 2019, I came and got my binding fabric. So I had everything done except for the binding.
Wonderful.
So a little over a year.
There you go. Congratulations again. Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Thank you.
You bet. She was delightful.
Yes.
And don't forget, Quilters, we have some of Ricky Timms' designer dies on our
Oh, that's right. That's right.
All right, the next quilt we're going to look at is amazing. It won first place in the miniature quilts category, Kumiko Friedel, and it is a whole cloth quilt, and she used thread painting. Wait till you see. It's called Emerald Labyrinth. Hey, quilters, so I'm here with Kumiko. She won first place in the small quilt category, correct?
Miniature category.
Miniature quilts. So talk about this, because this is a whole piece quilt, right?
Yeah, whole cross.
Right,
Yes.
whole cloth.
Whole cross and thread painting on.
Wow. And all of the detail then you just hand stitched?
Machine.
Machine
All
stitched?
machine stitch.
Okay. And then you added the embellishments around it? How long have you been doing this kind of quilting?
You mean whole cross?
Yes.
Whole cross, I started in maybe 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever won a ribbon at Paducah?
Yes.
Yay!
Yep.
What?
Four times.
4 times?
First place.
Yay! So for miniature quilts always?
Miniature.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is so pretty. And then the different colors in it were just painted, right?
It's threads.
Right, with just the threads.
Threads.
Wow.
It's called threads paint here.
And how long did it take you to create it?
Well, and this is first idea I started in 2019.
Okay.
Before pandemic started. And I wanted to enter the show here, but it took me a little longer. So I decided maybe next year. So first I finished in 6 months.
Wow.
Then all the other shows canceled.
Yes.
So I have to add more and more.
What a great use of your time. Great use of your time. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us. It's a beautiful quilt.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Okay, so whole cloth.
Whole cloth. And by thread painting, it means that it's just the stitching creating the design.
Yeah.
So the color that you see is all created by thread, and it is not, but it isn't painted.
Right, they just call them that. But never in my quilting head could do
Never, ever, ever.
Yeah.
Well, the last quilt that we're going to take a look at today is the first place winner of the small wall quilts category. Now, Karen K. Stone made this quilt. Her quilt is called Sacred, and it was stationary machine quilted. That means it was quilted on a stationary sewing machine where the quilt moves, not the machine. Let's look.
So quilters, I'm here with Karen Stone, and you won first place in the small wall quilts. Is this your first time winning at Paducah?
No, it's not.
Oh, congratulations. I love that. Tell us about this project and then the process for making it.
Oh, this is an applique quilt.
Okay.
That's kind of machine applique, but there's really no applique stitches in it. The applique is held together, glue basted, and then the quilting is the actually the applique stitch.
Right, which is stunning, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And so, did you design the stitching for each little section, or did you just think in your head, overall, I'm going to make the kind of this quilting, or?
Oh, I really just had one idea there, and that's all I was really capable of. Just one idea, just one thing. But I'm a dyer, and so the source of the idea for the palette really came out of my vats.
Right.
So it's not all handmade, obviously there's ones, but
right.
But yeah.
Wonderful. And then how long did your quilt take to create?
Oh, really not very long. It's a small quilt.
Yes. Yes, and it's beautiful. And tell us about the other quilts that you've made that won here as well.
Well, I have a quilt downstairs, large quilts, that is a Judge's Recognition Award from Sue Nichols, which I'm thrilled about.
Yay! She's terrific.
But yeah, I've been quilting. My first award at Paducah was in 1994.
Okay.
My New York Beauty quilt. That seems like a lifetime ago.
Yes.
And so, yeah, through the years, there've been a lot of wonderful surprises.
Wonderful. And how long have you been quilting?
35 years.
Wow. And is that your full-time job, or do you have other?
It is.
It is. That's wonderful.
I'm a teacher. I'm teaching across the hall.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us today.
It's great to meet you.
You bet.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe how close together her quilting was. That was just amazing. Yep. It's amazing. All right, quilters. Well, the time has come to announce today's poll results. And we ask you, have you ever had a quilt appraised?
And the options were yes, no, or it's on my bucket list. And you voted, and the majority of you said, drum roll please, no. But we are not surprised by that.
No, we aren't.
We're
you know,
not.
It's actually very hard to become a certified quilt appraiser. It takes years of work and study, and it's hard to find a quilt appraiser. So I don't even think that we have one here locally.
No, you'd have to find somebody online and do that. But
Yeah.
I feel like that it's worth the effort to find somebody to
Yes,
appraise your quilts
definitely.
and work it out, because it'll just be amazing.
Yes, we're so excited to get your results
I know.
back. Well, be sure to come back again tomorrow at 12 noon Central Time for the second part of our On the Go Limited series.
That's right. We'll be taking a look at some of the history of Paducah and sharing some of its quilting hotspots, like the National Quilt Museum is there, which is great. Don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to register for the event on our website to be eligible for prize drawings during tomorrow's show, because today's prizes were awesome.
Yes, they were. And don't forget, we have special offers for you today. Now, to get your orders in during the show, use your phone's camera to capture the QR code and go right to the site.
If you don't have a QR reader, no worries. Just open up a new tab in your browser. Type in AccuQuilt.com/party. Go to the site and place your order.
All right, quilters, use the promo code Paducah. That's PADUCAH, like in Heller, to take an extra 10% off your order and get free shipping if you live in the contiguous U.S. Using the code will save you, get this, up to 36% off of items that are already discounted. Now, some exclusions apply, so check the website for details.
And don't forget, many of our dies and bundles are currently marked down 25%, so take advantage of this extra 10%, right?
That's right.
Before it ends. No code is needed to redeem the 25% off.
Right. You can also find many of our products at your local AccuQuilt retailer. To find the retailer closest to you, check out the store locator. It's at the top of the page at AccuQuilt.com.
And don't forget, you can quilt now, pay later. Get financing through AccuQuilt at AccuQuilt.com/financing. All right, it is time for Eric and I to go take a power nap ahead of tomorrow's show, because it is going to be jammed packed with cool stuff.
That's right.
We hope you enjoyed seeing Paducah and the scenes behind the scenes from Quilt Week. We'll be back tomorrow with part 2 of our series, so don't miss out. So we're going to see the Quilt Museum. We're going to see the Yiser Art Museum.
Yes.
We have, we're going to do some really cool stuff.
You're going to talk to more customers?
Yes.
It'll be great.
And we want to give a huge shout out to Bonnie Browning, Robin Kohler, Anne Sachitano, and the winners of quilts who let us talk to them during the show. We appreciate it. Thanks for being part of our show, as well as so many of our customers. We have some more tomorrow.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you've been waiting for the show to end before you buy, now is the time, and here is the link. Get everything you need before your items sell out.
And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time,
so you can quilt more.
See you tomorrow.
Bye now.